So I've been playing in the same beta 1.7.3 world for over 6 years now, probably closer to 6.5. I don't actually know when I started. And I've been making videos for at least two of those. And a lot of people ask me, why do I specifically play beta? Why do I play this era of Minecraft? And a lot of people would assume that I think it's nostalgia. A lot of people who do play beta Minecraft, you hear that every now and then, will say it is because it's nostalgic. It reminds them of their childhoods. It reminds them of early Xbox Minecraft. That's a very common thing, saying that this era of Java Edition reminds them of early Xbox 360. For me, it's none of that. I started in beta 1.8, the adventure update, which came out after beta 1.7, where the game was completely overhauled. It looks completely different, tons of different mechanics and all that. I've spoken about this before, but I'm actually more nostalgic for probably early release, what the Redditors would call Silver Age, not Golden Age. So around about 1.2 to release 1.8. I've said before, but the 1.6 horse update is actually my specifically favorite update ever. I genuinely believe horses should have been added in beta. I think that was a huge misstep from Jeb and Notch, and it really should have been back in beta. But oh well. No, the real reason why I went back to beta, the real reason why I did that is because actually it was the technical aspect of Minecraft that got me in. So when I started my current world, I was actually looking for a specific thing where I had a lot of water and sand and not that much grass at spawn. And I chose my current seed because it had a lot of that. I just swam across the bay, and there was a perfect spot for my passive mob farm, because that was one of the big things that initially got me in to playing beta was passive mob spawning. So if you're completely unaware how it works in beta, quick rundown. Passive mobs in beta Minecraft spawn identically to pretty much how hostile mobs do. Uh, there's a certain spawn cap. They spawn 24 to 144 blocks away and can despawn beyond 32. Except that they need to spawn on grass. Previously, they needed light, but they can also spawn in the darkness. And yeah, so because of that, you need to remove all the area, all the grass in your area around your farm in order to make a passive mob farm. Passive mobs aren't persistent, meaning they don't despawn, they're always going to be there. No, they despawn. The only mob in beta that is persistent is the tamed wolf. So if you tame a wolf, it will stay there forever, but if it's a wild wolf, it'll eventually despawn over time. When I started building my base, I had a real big focus that I was going to have a passive and a hostile mob farm. Other mechanics that make hostile mob farming different in beta is that there's no idle distance. So in modern, if a mob is a certain distance away from a player, it will go idle and will not move. That's why sometimes you may have seen at a far distance, like zombies and skeletons sort of just standing there, not moving. But in beta, they are always constantly moving, which can be a good and a bad thing. A big thing with a hostile mob farming in modern is also the fact that all mobs swim up in water except slimes. So zombies and skeletons swim up, they float, unlike in modern where they now sink because they're undead and Mojang added that. Slimes, however, as I said, sink. That was actually an unintended feature. That was not intended for how they were to be, and they eventually changed that later on. But yeah, slimes can't swim in water and they just get stranded, which makes slime farming that much easier. Another big aspect of beta that really got me into it was the boat mechanics, particularly after boats were redone in the combat update, release 1.9. Old boat mechanics aren't perfect. Boats tend to be glitchy. There tends to be a little bit of desync, especially after release 1.3 and after the horse update. After the horse update, boats become basically unusable. But even with all that, I still love them. Boats being underwater, rising in water is a really cool mechanic. I've used that for elevators, and of course, being underwater and being pushed by flowing water allows you to reach the same speed as a minecart, and that is the speed that is used for eats roads. I made a tutorial recently on how to build an eats road. You should check it out. You know, eats roads are such a cool little feature of beta Minecraft. This is literally impossible in modern. There's nothing like this. I did see a while ago some people were like making rivers that had like flowing water so the boat would automatically move, but it is so slow in comparison to even Eats Road, and so slow in comparison to the other modes of transport in modern, such as elytras or iceboat roads, that it's utterly pointless. As I went on to play beta Minecraft and I discovered the golden age Minecraft or old Minecraft community, there was a lot more things about beta I discovered, and one of those big things was block transmutation. If you don't know, blocks and items in Minecraft, in beta Minecraft, have numerical ID, and when you have different things such as different logs, different wool colors, they are that numerical ID plus a sub value. And block transmutation is changing that sub value using some kind of method. In beta 1.7, you're using pistons and redstone torches. Sometimes you can also use levers and stuff like that. And you're basically transfiguring the block into another type of block by using this bug. This was not an intended feature. Later on in beta and early release, there are other transmutation bugs. Like I know there was one around 1.2, release 1.2, using flowing water, and then in a 1.7 there was one that could use arrows, arrows and pressure plates. So that was an interesting one. One thing that I've come to appreciate more, also after discovering the Golden Age Minecraft community, is the building aspect. There are some really talented builders in the community. The boy Ryan, for example, he is on the back. He's on the back to beta more server, whatever it's bloody called these days. He is an extremely talented builder. He fucking knocks shit out. It is absolutely great. There also are plenty of other talented builders. Each person has their own different style, and I've seen this argument constantly throughout the community. Is beta building more creative than modern? Uh, well, first off, creativity is subjective. And secondly, it's a different kind of creativity. With modern, because they have such a larger block palette to pick from, it's all about utilizing that giant palette to its advantage. With beta, however, you have a much, much smaller block palette. And so with less blocks, you're trying to achieve a build that, looks good with less. Also, the restricted world height. The world height in beta is only 128 blocks tall, as opposed to the 300 something, whatever it is in modern. It used to be 256, and they slapped on another 64, so something like 320 something. I don't know. You figure that one out. But yeah, so your heights when it comes to building is pretty limited. And even still with that limitation, there are some pretty impressive builds that I have seen in the Golden Age Minecraft community. And then of course there are the like little oddities that are unique to beta Minecraft. Big one of course is the Farlands. The Farlands is obtained an almost mythical status within the wider Minecraft community because it's just so far away and so time consuming to get to without just blatantly cheating that as I said, it's almost attained this mythical status. And of course, the Kurt J. Mack just last year, towards the end of 2025, finally reached there after almost 15 years of his charity walkathon. It's a really amazing place. I want to visit one day, and I want to go there in my single player world. And also just so many other little sort of quirks like nightmare mechanics. Nightmares are such a weird little thing. Like no one understands how they work. Like I actually looked at on the Minecraft wiki out of curiosity. The Minecraft wiki is just outright lying. The Minecraft wiki has blatantly fake information. I don't even know. I want to know what drugs the person on was writing this because they just pulled something out of their ass, and the editorial standards on the wiki just went good enough for me. It's just I just it's really funny. Um, and then of course there's like little quirks like Redstone, for example. Redstone has so many more quirks. Not only is there less Redstone components, uh, pistons behave very differently to how they do in later versions. Like, for example, a very common modern thing is a monostable circuit where you have redstone porting into a block with a sticky piston underneath and then output, and that will change it. That does not work in beta. I've tried multiple times to get something like that to work, and it's very inconsistent. Um, Same with T flip-flops. They're also very inconsistent. You have to do certain things. And redstone's very positional as well. Just because it works in one spot doesn't mean it's going to work somewhere else. And yeah, it's quite a it's quite interesting, and I've had a lot of fun trying to figure out how to make things work. Especially because I think with modern Redstone and modern Minecraft, there's a real tendency we just copy all the people that you know, all the bigger people. I mean, some people figure it out themselves. Don't get me wrong, but I think we have a tendency to copy all the big YouTubers who design all the super cool like circuitries or whatever, and we all just do that. Whereas in beta, I've found that a lot of the time I've tried to have to figure out how to do things myself because like there's no manual, there's no 1 million plus subscriber Redstoner YouTuber coming up with everything. We do have someone a bit like that in the community. This guy called Sinkhole, I think his name is. He's got a really cool channel showing off stuff, but even then, like he doesn't show off everything, and just yeah, a lot of the stuff in the world, like the doors and whatever, that I've had to figure out how to wire that all up all myself, and I've learned so much. Even like block duplication, if I downgrade to beta 1.7.2 and use the block dupers that Kieshar famously showed 16 years ago or whatever it was. Um, I love it. Like I've seen people build those, and they always build the really spaced out versions that he shows in his one video. I figured out how to compress that shit into like a 2x3. So yeah, it's just that's what I mean. Like I probably haven't felt that really inventive working with Redstone in a long time. Another big aspect that a lot of people really like is world generation. I did mention the Farlands, but that's an oddity 12 million blocks out. The normal world generation, what you're going to encounter on a normal playthrough, is pretty cool. Like I've seen a lot of hate in the community for like the caves and cliffs terrain generation. I don't mind it too much. You get some weird patches, but for the most part, I actually quite like it. But beta has a completely different aesthetic that I also like. I appreciate both of them, is what I'm trying to say. Um, and with beta 1.7 and earlier, yeah, I definitely feel like with the limitations of the game that we've got, the terrain works so well. Like the really like the beaches. I like that the beaches are consistent too. A big problem with modern that I've always had since they reintroduced beaches, that beaches are a biome, meaning that they just sort of paint over the terrain, meaning you can get these really wonky beaches that just look absolutely awful. Whereas the beaches in beta are constrained to terrain height, and so because of that, you get a much more cleaner, uniform, much cleaner, consistent look, I should say. Um, Another thing is the mountains, like they are just vertical pillars, but I actually quite like that. It kind of reminds me of a lot of land formations in real life, like eroded volcanic formations, like what's that one in, I think it's up in America, like the really tall towers in that Spielberg alien movie. Or stuff like, you know, the mesas in like America, Monument Valley, or volcanic plugs like the Warrumbungles in Australia, or something like that. I really get those feelings of when I see those, you know, mountains, air quotes. And they're really cool to build in because you have these dramatic cliffs, you can put stuff in the sides and put bridges and stuff in between. And of course, you also get floating islands and stuff like that. But by far, I think the biggest aspect that's really kept me into this sort of era of Minecraft in the last couple of years, aside from my autistic devotion to completing my projects in single player, is by far the community. There's a little community, as I said, like the Golden Age Minecraft community. People call the Golden Age. I've debated before whether this is really Minecraft's Golden Age or not, but whatever. That's just what we call it. We just sort of move on with it. It's an alright community. I mean, it can be get a little dumb at times, but that's every Minecraft community, and it's quite small. I'd say it's probably about 10,000 people. I'd say that are kind of in it, 10 to 20,000 people, that ballpark. So compared to other parts of the of you know online communities, it's pretty small, and I don't know, it can be a lot of fun. You can meet a lot of cool people. I've certainly met a lot of cool people. A lot of the people that I've met that are decent are on back to beta slash beta more slash whatever it's called, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I would recommend getting in there. Like as I said, check out like the subreddits. I mean, it is Reddit, so you know you are gonna have the Reddit experience, but um Unfortunately, we don't have internet forums anymore. Everything's on Reddit or Discord these days. There are Discords. I don't really promote Discord just because it's you know Discord, but but yeah, there are Discords. Just of course, just be smart and be careful not to get scammed or sexually groomed. And of course, then there's plenty of videos on YouTube. There's not just my YouTube channel. There's other creators. The two big ones, of course, are Dialco and Monster. Like they're the big ones, or Mahjong Blonsky. That's Monster's other channel. But there's also plenty of other ones, as I mentioned, like Boy Ryan. You got Box Player. You've got lots of little channels, even though you've got only a couple hundred subs. Check out the community. You don't know who you'll find. Is what I'm trying to say. It's really cool. But yeah, I hope that kind of gets my point across. What I was trying to say. It's a very rambly video. I just wanted to make something because I haven't made a video in a while, and I'm going away for a week, so I just want to put something out. But anyways, tell me what you think of beta Minecraft. Do you like it? What about it do you like? What's made you stay? Do you hate it? Do you hate watching my channel? That would be absolutely hilarious if there was like one person hate watching me. That would be pretty funny. But thank you for watching. Have yourselves a good one. Catch you next time.